Hi, everybody. I'm Valerie Gotcher. I'm the founder and executive director at BIND, the Brain Injury Network of Dallas. I'd like to thank you for joining us for Synapse Laps 2020. And today we've got a wellness tip ready for you from our member, Karl. But before we start, Karl, can you please introduce yourself and tell us how you came to be a member of BIND?
Sure. I've been at BIND now for 18 months, and I started off at the hospital because I had a stroke, and I was in the hospital, and then I came to PATE, which is a rehab place, and I was there for 6 months, and then I got news about BIND. In fact, I was a presentation there, met some of the people, and then about 2 weeks later, I started to go, and it's been just terrific. I met new people and new exercises and all sorts of things. It's been good. So I really enjoy being here, and thanks for having me here doing this. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're really happy to have you as one of our program members. And thank you for putting this presentation together for us today. So let's get our screen up. So tell us a little bit about what are some healthy tips for living to be 100 years old.
Sure. Do you know that we are now living longer? Here's some stats that a lot of people really have any idea about it. Next to the last century, we have now lived 48% longer. And I found the oldest person who is still living is 138 years old. And in fact, they are still 38,000 people who are still more than 100 years old. So I want to talk a little bit about this from the idea of that it's upbeat, it's good news and so forth. First is that you think we're younger than we really are. As we get older, it matters more how we feel than it is what our age really ought to be. When you find thinking about how old are you? And if you think about it in a way that it's younger than you really are, that's a good sign that you're going to be living a lot more time. Second, it has to do with how optimistic are you? Living a long time has a lot to do with not just about your body, but it's what's happening in your head. There was a study that came from Harvard, and what they said is that more than 25% of the most optimistic people in a study said the most people who had left a lower lift of cancer and heart attacks and strokes and so forth, it is better when they are in fact the type who are optimistic, and that's good news. Third, do you like to have naps? Naps are one of the things that we really think we don't have enough time to do it. However, it could have great benefits for everybody who wants to do this. In fact, there's research that shows that people who take a nap 30 minutes every day is more than 38% less likely to have a heart attack than those who do not do that. Fourth, you have to have faith. And this is a great story because her name is Ruth, and she's from North Carolina. And she was 106 years today, and she says that faith is an important part of herself. What happened was she was a teacher, and she still does scripture every day, talking about the Bible and things that she does. And then finally, the last advice is stay single. and her name was Jenny. And what she says is that the best thing she could do is get away from women, from men, getting away from men. I'm sorry. And she said there's simply, they're more trouble than it's worth. And so we have to be careful about this. What do you think about men? Staying away, that's what she says. All right. Now, the other thing on your screen here are a couple of things about what is fun, but it's also true. And the first one is you want to be healthy, but you want to be too healthy. That's not what you want to do. So there was a woman who works in New York, and she was 108 years old. And what she does is she hates salads, she hates beverages, she hates getting up early. What she likes to do instead is she wants to do hamburgers that are rare. She likes chocolate. She likes booze, basically, and having the good nightlife for it. And then there was a woman in France, her name's Jean, and she lived for 122 years. And she apparently ate 3 pounds of chocolate every week, and she smoked until she was 17, 18 years.
Wow.
And that's amazing. I'm not saying you should do that, but that's what it is.
It worked for
However,
her.
there is good news.
It worked for that one lady in France.
Exactly. And there is good news here, because it's not all about booze and alcohol and so forth. Her name was Elizabeth, and she lived, or still is, she was until 22-3. And so she gives Dr. Peppers 3 times a day. And she says people try to give her coffee, but it doesn't work. She likes Dr. Pepper. So that's a really exciting thing to do. All right. Second is the idea that you want to be kind to people. And her name is Jean, and she was 118 years. And she said that the most important thing she could do is try to be right to people. Treat them well. Do what you want people to do, and let other people be nice to you. And I think that's a good thing that we should think about. And then finally, this is important. I guess you could tell me it's important, I don't know. But her name is Jean, and she lived until 118 years, and she never had an accident. She never had a bone hurt. She's never taken medicines, and she never had to go to the hospital. And how did she do this? She said, I never took makeup. Okay, she never used it. And
never
said,
wore makeup on her face.
That's right. No, and she's never gone to a beautiful chalk, and she's never been vain. So even though people want to be beautiful and so forth, I get there's another way you can have beauty, and it doesn't always have makeup. So I kind of hope y'all have enjoyed some of this, and it's good to know that we are living, and what we do as we live is also important as well. So hope you all have a very good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Karl. We appreciate your tips. Bye.